What is good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the Council of Comics podcast, episode 3. We got a couple new faces for the council that you guys haven't met on the podcast. Green shirt guy, introduce yourself.
I'm Green Shirt Guy. My given name is Ronaldo, though, so you probably see me at shows or whatever at the shop or at the shop. I love all things Star Wars, Marvel, DC. I'm a Batman guy, but yeah.
Excellent. Josh.
Yep. My name there is Josh, and that's my given name. That's my birth name. That's what most people call me, except my kids. Been reading comics since I knew how to read. So I just love everything pretty much. But right now I'm mostly Marvel guy. A lot of Star Wars. I love Star Wars. And yeah, most weeks you'll see me at Anthony's. I've been going there for 20 years. So
Nice. Well, tune in, guys. We're about to talk over the MCU Phase 1, go over some comics. Be right back. Yeah. Shout out to Madness. Yeah. Rogue Nation 845. Bro. If you don't know, everywhere we go, we in control. Yeah. All right. So we were still waiting. Everybody out there, you know, you're looking for Cliff and Bam and all them, but you know they're running a little late today, but that's okay. We're gonna go over some comics, some hot books I got up. We'll check Key Collector for a little bit. And then as soon as I get one more person on this live stream, we're going to jump into the MCU. And if they don't show up, we're going to jump into the MCU anyway. So let me share this. Boom. So this is Cover Price. Do you guys use Cover Price?
no,
I don't. I should.
This is coverprice.com without the E. It's about $7 a month, but you can catalog you can put every single comic book in here. The difference between this and Key Collector is Key Collector only has keys. Like if it's not a key, it's not in Key Collector. But Cover Price has everything. So
I see. I use CLZ for mine.
CLZ is a good one. I had to choose between CLZ and Cover Price, and it was very in the beginning when I was choosing between the apps, and something just told me to say Cover Price. So I never used CLZ. So,
I got in early on CLZ, so I got like the crazy like price where they were brand new. So I got it for like
nice.
So it's one of those deals.
And I think Cover Price is now linked with Go Collect, if I'm correct. No,
right? Okay.
Go Collect is using their data. Like we'll go over right here. Like right now, I'm in the top hot comics that are currently. So if you have it, it'll tell you own one. But say Silver Surfer #1, right, from 1982. Go to it. June 1st. The last recorded sale was $20 for a near mint 9094 book. And here they have like the raw comic sales and the slab comic sales. So one sold for $18 a couple months ago, one sold for $20 just recently, $24, and so forth. And it goes by the grade. And they actually keep an account. And for me, it's like the best one because I know they don't record every single transaction that happens.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's thousands of transactions in the books that are never logged in and all that. But this actually gives us something. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
I was going to say, are they drawing that data from something or just what's recorded by people that use that?
Well, they pick them off of like eBay and whoever's like linked with them that reports their sales and stuff like that.
Right on.
Yeah, so a 9.8 of the Silver Surfer is going for $180. It's not bad.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I would think,
I had that book. ago, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a book. When I got back into collecting, because I took a long time off. I just wanted to get like key books, and I saw this, and I was like, well, this is technically like the second series.
It is. It's
You know what I
his
mean?
it's his second number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's his like, if I remember right, I don't know if that's if that's his full origin in there. So John Byrne. It's John Byrne like full, like, right,
Woo!
art. Yeah, but it was just a one shot. It was the only
Yeah.
it was the issue. Yeah.
What up, Cliff?
Hi.
Cliffy?
There he is.
It's nice to be let out of the Phantom Zone.
Let me get to the big screen. What's up? How you been?
Good. How is everybody? Oh
Good.
my God, green shirt, guys! It's never gonna end. You wore one green shirt.
Green shirt guy. He's red shirt guy. I don't know if he's wore a purple shirt yet. But
I
Cliff,
have some
we were
purple
going
shirts.
we were going
wear purple
over
next
some hot comics right now. Trying to give
Cliff, I
like a
like your
couple more
piano.
minutes for other people. So let's see what else is hot right now. Come
Cliff, play
on.
something for us on your piano.
A piano that doesn't exist, as most of us very well know.
You guys see anything you like? Let me know.
Is this it?
These are the hot comics recently.
Do we know what they're gonna do with Miracle Man other than all these covers coming out this week and this month?
Well,
He's coming back.
they are picking up the Game in Buckingham run. That's going to start back up. I know that.
Okay, so Gaiman and Buckingham are going to do another Miracle Man for Marvel.
Yes, but it's picking up from wherever they left off.
Okay, great.
Whatever.
As long as it's something that feels natural.
Yep. And then I'm sure after that, then they will find some way to
Ruin him.
Yeah, there you go. Shoehorn him in to the rest of the Marvel universe, because
That's the last thing I want. I really, because Marvel proves often they don't know how to handle their powerful characters, or do not know how to sell them. Right? Remember the Ultimates book not so long ago, and everybody in it was really powerful, like Blue Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then, like, who do they have them fight? Crazy Ultimate Reed Richards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, and that was like a multiverse threat. And then after that, it's like, oh, we don't know what to do with you guys because, you're really powerful. They gave Hyperion a series. It was pretty good. And then what? They didn't know what to do with it. Like, they just don't. Both comic companies, I think, don't know or are afraid to handle their heavily superpowered characters.
Which maybe
like self-contained, I think he's more interesting. Once you put him in a realm where things like the Sentry exist, like, what are we doing? Yeah. And then, like, what? He'll be like, oh, Sentry, you let the void out again. Don't worry, buddy. I'm Miracle Man. I'll fix it.
Does anybody know how Miracle Man ended?
I vaguely recall stuff with his daughter being really powerful, and his wife ran off because she couldn't handle that the baby was psychic. She didn't even realize it was the baby talking to her when she took off. I know there was a Miracle Woman, but I can't remember if that was the old sidekick and she got older and came back.
Well,
everyone remembers the beginning. The beginning was the most elaborate and bombastic, right? And then the end, it kind of fades.
Well, I would love to have like these books. A 9.8 is going for like $355. I mean, you get like a raw for about 40.
And honestly, I think this is very like conservative because that is not a very heavily printed book, and it is old enough now that getting a 9.8 is difficult.
Yeah. Very
You know?
difficult.
And also, the key issue of the original series is the reveal that his sidekick never gave up his powers all these years. And like I think that issue is worth even more than number 1, technically.
What about the Savage She-Hulk?
Well, that's nice. I'm happy to see her in all her forms. You know, because I'm secure in my entire life.
Of course, it's the first appearance of She-Hulk. I heard today is so funny because I watched the thing today, and the reason why She-Hulk appeared in this book as her first appearance is because Marvel was always used to putting their characters into like other books to introduce them first. But this was around the same time that the Incredible Hulk was on as a television show.
Correct.
What a great show.
And if they had introduced her in another book or something like that, and then the show did She-Hulk before Marvel put her in a book, there was going to be like some big legal fiasco and stuff. So Marvel was just like, boom, Savage She-Hulk number 1, beat everybody to the punch. They own it completely.
Nice.
I could see that.
Yeah. I want that book too, man. $90, no grade. I mean, if that's a decent book, I would have spent $90 on that. I would have spent $90 if it was decent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't Anthony have one of those?
Feel like he did.
At the shop.
Did he?
At one point he did. I haven't seen it recently.
9.8 in 2021.
I don't know how. Yeah, I couldn't tell you on the grade on it, but
so 9.8s are now going for about 1,100. To me, that's just too much money for me. Like
I'm not spending that, but
spending 1,100 is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a signed 9.8 going for 30 grand, but it's signed. It's signed by 2 deceased legends. It's signed by Stan Lee and Joe Sinnott.
30 grand.
30 grand. Both of them are dead. They are legends.
Wait, did Joe actually send it? Did he actually work on that book?
I think he did the art on that book. Yeah.
Okay. Because it was Buscema through it, right? John Buscema through it.
No, yeah, Joe Sinnott and John Buscema worked on the cover. So yes, he worked on the cover.
Okay.
Nice.
So it counts.
Okay.
See what else we got here. This one right here. I mean, did you guys read Amazing Fantasy 1000?
No,
I haven't.
I did not.
I did. I mean,
was it good?
It's just a bunch of short stories. It was okay. You know what I mean? Like one takes place in early years, one takes place in the far, far future. But it's like weird because you think it's Aunt May, but then you find out, spoiler alert, that it's just really a really old Mary Jane Watson.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But these things get me upset. I talk about it every week. It's like I have the regular one with the logo on it. And then they go and do this thing, well, we're going to take the logo off and make it special. I was like, really?
Yeah, but like, who cares? You know? Do you only care because people might pay that money for it? You know? And also, like, this is something I wouldn't. You know? This is like nothing I care to go out of my way for. It's nice that it was a $10 book that was an anthology.
But that's you. You're not a big Peach Momoko fan. I'm a big Peach Momoko fan.
I know you love Peach Momono, but the point is...
Yeah, hey!
I like some of her stuff, but I gotta admit, it looks like
don't be disrespecting Peach Momoko.
Listen, I have the power. I have the power to separate her appearance from her talent. Okay, so it's much easier for me to be like this. Now, if we were getting into any of my favorite artists, it would be a different ballpark.
Let's jump over to Key Collector real quick. And just look at the trending 20 that just
okay.
Came out.
Wait. Go to Superman immediately. We got to talk about this because maybe you know.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
No, because we got to talk about it.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, because I want to know what's going on.
It's the 30th anniversary.
No, The part about CGC co-selling a gold foil exclusive. Tell me all about that. I don't know anything about that.
What is that? I haven't heard about that either.
Well, okay, so read the last description here. 167% increase in copies sold this week versus the previous week, with DC releasing a 30th anniversary re-release and controversy surrounding CGC co-selling a gold foil exclusive.
What's the controversy though?
Right, what is it? What does CGC have their hands in now? Who's making the gold foil cover? Is that it? Is it like those people that we're supposed to be angry about? Like, are they the ones who ordered it and CGC is like co-selling it, so therefore it looks like they're in cahoots again?
What?
Doesn't matter because you just staple it on anyway, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is this why there's a controversy? Are those same people involved in this?
Right.
Interesting. That's the first time I've heard of the gold foil thing. But I mean, I would think after all this, it has to be DC putting it out.
Right, but CGC is co-selling it. Why are they co-selling it? What like what's going on there? Like, and
So,
if there's a controversy, maybe DC's not directly involved, and there we go.
Would DC give somebody approval to do a gold foil cover?
They could.
Maybe.
Like, that's not outside of the that's not outside of the realm of possibility. But if CGC is involved with it in some way, then yeah. And of course, the CGC is involved in it, and the people that we're keeping our eye on are involved in it.
True indeed. This
I mean, is it
sold
possible
6 million copies,
it's a money
man.
thing?
What was
It's
that?
always-
I was gonna say, is it possible it's just a money thing? Not that doesn't really still look funky, but CGC says, hey, if you put this out, we'll pay for 30% of the production costs, so you don't have to worry about losing your shirt on it if it doesn't sell. And then they make out because they're gonna know people are gonna want to slab the book. It looks bad because perception's always greater than what actually happens sometimes, but maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I would see the co-selling thing as a problem. Because you're supposed to be the place that grades the books.
Oh, I don't disagree.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're the place that grades the books, you could say that's a 9.8 and it's not. Just because you want to get it out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And how many times have we seen a 9.8 with a crack in it? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm starting to be over this whole slab thing. I really am, because it's like you're taking a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You send
Well,
that
I feel
in.
like sometimes they're a little more lenient on older books anyway because there's less of them, and they know that people weren't grading them way back when. Whereas the new stuff,
it's true.
they're
Like,
real harsh on.
They didn't show up until 2005, so I feel like books prior to like 2008. They probably are a little more lenient because like nobody was doing this. I feel like they're much harsher on more recent ones.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you have to with the recent ones, I think.
Yeah. And then the recent ones, it's a nightmare because there's so much with DC and Marvel going through their own direct channels now. Now, the first thing we noticed was the fact that it was like, well, these came all special.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird too that because you could send two of the same books in. Well, I haven't sent a bunch of books in a while, but just because I haven't been to shows for obvious reasons, everything's shut down. But like I would send in 20 to 25 books at a run, and then you look at what you get back, and you're like, well, this I can see a spine tick in it. It's a 9.6, and then you look at something else that looks immaculate, and it's a 9.2, and you're like, what the hell's the difference?
Yeah.
Like this one, clearly I can see there's a problem, but you let it go. I don't understand it myself.
Yeah, I saw a Wolverine limited series #1 and signature series 9.8 with a rusted, cracky staple.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that can't be right.
Well, wait,
You know
which
what I
Wolverine
mean?
#1 is it?
The 80s one.
From the miniseries.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's more forgivable because there's only so many of them, and it is of a certain age. Like I could
With
see
a rusty staple.
Yeah, I could see it. And by the way, you want some gossip? I saw Frank Miller ruin a bunch of those when people from CGC, you know, they send people from CGC up online to like, you know, to get them the stuff graded. So he would know it's a CGC guy, and he'd be all mad and like put his thumbprint in it when he was signing them.
or he'd bend the corner. I've heard that too.
Or
why would he do that? That's horrible.
Because to him those aren't the real collectors. Yeah, you know. Yeah. And this is some dude working.
Who determined like what that shit? That's
I
annoying.
Know, but you gotta listen. First of all, man, he is who he is, and if you've read about him, you know how opinionated he is, right?
But the fact that people paid for that book, though, you know what I mean? Like people paid for that book.
You learned a lesson, didn't you? By the way, here's another lesson.
Honestly, I would have jumped over the table and kicked him.
Well, yeah, but you weren't there. You're not there, and that's why some people are stupid. Some people were smart, went with the person who's verifying the grading, stood in line with them, talked to them, and like, oh my God, this is my book. I love you so much. I love this. I love that. Oh, Sin City's amazing. And then he left with the guy who verifies the signature. So that guy was okay. Right, but not the idiots who are like, "Oh, here's CGC, go do all the work for me."
Oh my God! Yeah, this is why I can't send in my Knights of the Old Republic Darth Revan #1. Oh, not Darth Revan first appearance. I just can't do it.
But this story is about him being the villain, not CGC.
Yeah. Well, CGC I always like to get my book signed personally, anyway. That way, you have the story of meeting whoever the creator is. So regardless of whether it comes back a crap grade, not that I want that, I at least have the story of meeting them and talking about whatever I'm getting signed.
Yeah. I've never cared about having an autographed book that I didn't meet the person who autographed it. Like, it literally means nothing to me at all.
Well, with the exception of the ones that I mailed into CGC, which was arranged by CGC and Tom Taylor, and he advertised it on his website, and I replied to him multiple times, so he knew damn well he was signing my books.
That's different because you're still having contact with him, though. That's still cool.
Right. So, like, I feel absolved of that. But like, of course, you know, I'm always there to get my stuff signed. I'm gonna have Gail Simone signing stuff on Friday like nobody's business.
All right, guys, we're going to get into the main topic, which is MCU. Now, there are 4 official phases. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 4. Currently, they haven't made it clear whether Wakanda, I think that's the end of Phase 4.
It's supposed to be the end of Phase 4.
It is.
End of Phase 4. But what we are going to...
Damn, Phase 3 and 4 look so big and ridiculous.
Right?
For real.
We're going to go original status for this week. We're going to discuss Phase 1 is Iron Man. Oh, no.
Back.
Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, The First Avenger, and the very first Avengers film. Let's start off with the one that started it all. Iron Man. I'm going to jump straight into some pictures over here because I don't want to get flagged by Marvel. Because
that right there, that last shot right before you switch is the what I always think of. Is where he's standing there with his back to the mountains, and then you get that whoosh as it explodes behind him. That's every time I think of that movie, that's what I think of.
Jericho. You will build Jericho.
Yes.
So Iron Man was directed by Jon Favreau. And they didn't have an Iron Man, and they decided to take a chance on Sir Robert Downey Jr.
And wasn't he the one who advocated for him, Jon Favreau?
Yes, because for those who don't know, at the time Robert Downey Jr. was having issues, I guess drug issues, whatever issues allegedly he had. And studios did not want to take a chance on him, but he was an extremely talented actor.
I believe
But
he was sober at the time. It's
He
just
was.
that, like,
well, this was like, yeah, he had just gone through all his stuff, and he was trying to get back into it, and nobody was really giving him a chance. You know what I mean?
Had he?
So, what's
Did
up?
he do that movie with Jamie Foxx yet? You know, the one where Jamie Foxx is the autistic guy that plays the violin. Was that before or after this?
After this.
It was just after. That was okay.
Yes.
So at this time, Marvel Studios was not technically Marvel Studios. That hadn't been formed yet. Marvel had recently just leased their properties, such as the X-Men, the Fantastic Four. They gave the Fox. They gave Spider-Man to Sony because they were having some financial woes and they needed money. So they decided to go with the lower C grade characters to do something. And they put all their money on Iron Man. And they got Robert Downey Jr., they got everybody to agree that Robert Downey Jr. was the man. And then Iron Man came out in 2008 and took the world by storm. I thought this was an incredible movie. I thought off the bat it was better than any comic book movie that we had seen previously. Just off of its comedy, its action, its story, its like slight little Easter eggs, and it really felt like a starting of a universe. What do you guys think?
I mean, it only had one big Easter egg, as we all know. And everyone who has worked in the movie is like, oh, we weren't really sure. We weren't really sure.
Which
You know,
Easter egg are you talking about?
Nick Fury, the end credit scene, you know? Which, by the way, this movie marked the return of the end credit scene, like officially, you know?
Yeah.
But the whole movie was like, okay, like it could be set in the Marvel universe.
I mean, there was other Easter eggs.
I know, but they're Easter eggs. They're shallow, right? We've gotten lots of shallow Easter eggs in the Marvel Cinematic Universe nonstop, right? But Nick Fury.
Why do you think they're shallow? Like, I think the looking of the War Machine armor, that was
right,
pretty
but
cool.
but that's Iron Man's universe. That's not the Marvel universe, right? Name something that's part of the Marvel universe.
You're right.
Like Nick Fury is the official moment. Have
he-
you heard of the Avengers initiative? Like that is the moment where you're like, oh my god!
Doesn't he, when he flies over to that one country, doesn't he? I mean, they kind of, without telling you, but it kind of teases it, but it's not, obviously, because they name it something else. Don't you get the feeling that that's supposed to be, I forgot Dr. Doom's country.
Liberia?
Didn't you feel like that was what that was going to end up being at some point?
I didn't know where it was, honestly.
I certainly did not feel that way because I was still very aware of the Fox X-Men Fantastic Four agreement. And and from the moment this movie took off, those licenses plagued my mind. And I'm like, oh man, are we ever going to get this stuff?
Okay, the villain was the Ironmonger.
Yep.
Right.
It was played by what's his face?
Jeff Bridges.
He just
Jeff
died.
Bridges.
Too.
Yeah, Jeff
No,
Bridges.
No,
William.
I'm thinking
William Hurt
Yeah,
from the Hulk.
Right.
William Hurt just tried. Jeff Bridges, and of course Gwyneth Paltrow played Pepper Potts. Which I think her line through the MCU is great.
Being in this movie.
What was
being
that?
in all these movies, she doesn't even know what she's filming half the time, and she's just there. She's like, oh, you guys want me to come down to the set? And oh, do you want me to send a food truck? All right, guys, we're doing it.
But how
Avengers.
fulfilling was it in Endgame when she shows up in the suit? You're like, yes, she deserves this moment.
Yeah,
she's been through a lot.
Well, listen, the character has been through enough. She deserves it. And I'm as crazy as Gwyneth Paltrow can be, and I love her mom so much, by the way. Blythe Danner is amazing. I actually rode the train with Blythe Danner once, and that woman is salt of the earth. I love her. But Gwyneth, despite everything, it's like, yo, she put in the work. You know, so what if she didn't know if it was a Spider-Man movie or an Avengers movie? She showed up, she delivered her lines, she sold Pepper Potts, you know. but the arc of her character is well done.
Also
To be
introduced.
fair, though, she doesn't have very many lines in most of those movies. She's like 5 minutes and gone.
She's heavy
And
duty
I'm
in
not
Iron
saying
Man
she didn't
3.
do well. I'm
No,
just
but
saying
she's
it's not like
heavily-
she has
She's one of the main ones in Iron Man 3.
Yeah, in Iron Man 3, she's
Yeah, that's true, that's
clearly
true.
a lead character.
Yeah.
Well,
What about
how
this guy
how about
right
everyone
here?
On screen right now. Do you think he
This is
wishes he did
Terrence.
ask for more money?
Terrence Howard is
Oh
playing
my, that is a whole
Rhodey.
mess. If
Terrence-
you hear his side of the story, right? He didn't even know. They were just like, oh, this guy's allegedly, it's like, oh, this guy's contract is out of control. Like, we can't afford to pay him. Don't call him back. And like, apparently, like, according to him, that's the story. Like, I just never heard from them again.
I think what happened is that he got a little too high in his britches about who his character was and what it was in the future, and he started spewing that I need more money. And Marvel and Kevin Feige were just at a point like, you haven't blown up yet. We just recasted the Hulk. We can definitely recast you too.
Maybe,
Well,
but
he's
you know,
coming right
You know what
off
I mean?
of what do you call it too? That Oscar buzz. So I think I think it's a little bit of that too. He's
Yeah,
thinking,
and
well,
I
I'm
think
about to
they
be a big
stuck
thing
it on
somewhere
him
else.
like, I think Kevin Feige was like, and I'm even gonna stick it on you like, we're not gonna get somebody that even looks like you. We're gonna get somebody that looks completely
Also,
different
wait,
than you.
was Kevin
Correct.
Feige even there at that point?
Yes, he was. He's there from the beginning.
Yes, he was.
I just don't remember him being such a steering control rod back then.
Well, this is the beginning. He's not gonna be
I
that
know,
way.
right? Well, anyhow, I just don't perceive him in
Well-
that manner at that point in history.
That's
You
because
know,
the face at the point was Jon Favreau, because he was the most well-known person behind the camera on that production, because he had been in other movies and he had directed Elf, and he was more or less a household name. That's what they put out in front. If you go back and you think about some of the press that was done for the first couple of years, he very much.
no, it was definitely him. And listen, he's earned it. He did it here for Marvel. He's doing it for Star Wars.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
and what I love about him is he knows enough to tap all the right people. It's not like I'm gonna put this on my shoulders. He's like, yo, who was the best who did this? Who was the best who did that? Let's find them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, for me, like, just to diverge just a tiny bit, like, I felt very much the same way that Sam did about this movie. But like, this movie came out the week actually that my mother passed away, so this movie has kind of like a special place for me, because it was a little bit of an escape, obviously, but I felt very much like, you know, we had seen some other things come around, but like, this definitely felt like this was a jumping point where they could really launch the universe.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest movie of all time. It wasn't the worst movie of all time.
It's a damn good
was-
film.
It was just a good movie.
I absolutely can rewatch this movie. I never have a problem rewatching this movie. And
Yeah.
I can't say that for every single Marvel film we've got.
Yeah, no, it's true. And
True.
like, my thing about this movie, to me, like, this is probably just me just being way over the top nerdy about it, but I think the thing that impressed me the most about this movie, because I felt like there were other superhero movies that would never do this, but they started him in that big bulky gray armor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm.
They didn't shy away from that being, you know, part of like just the kickoff of that character, him building the armor in the cave, starting out with that just giant hulking, you know, Mark I armor. Yeah, it didn't look exactly like the comics, but it was the same idea. You know, I felt like comic book movies at that point would have just jumped to him getting, you know, the most marketable suit from the get-go, because that's what you want to sell action figures.
I felt like it was kind of had like a Superman feel to it, like you believed a man could fly, and this one you believed a man could build an iron suit in a cave. You know what I mean? You were believing that, oh, he's really building the suit. And what made it believable is that, okay, this is only going to run for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's like, it's not going to be forever. All right. So at the end of this movie, he reveals to the world as everybody else does not want him to, he reveals that he is Iron Man, which is a
Yeah.
switch from the comics where for a long period of time he kept his identity a secret. So right from the jump, we're already in a different thing than the comics because
Right.
I did not expect that whatsoever.
Yes.
And it jumps into the next movie, which is The Incredible Hulk.
which
Correct.
I adore, and She-Hulk has actually helped me adore it more.
The Incredible Hulk is directed by Louis. How do you say his name?
Leterrier, maybe.
Leterrier.
I'm guessing.
And Edward Norton against his will, so that's fun.
Yeah, right.
Starring
In the-
Edward Norton. No, that wasn't against his will. What are you talking about?
No, against Leterrier's will.
Oh, but didn't Leterrier want Ruffalo?
No,
I heard that Ruffalo was in the running in the beginning.
for
Maybe.
this, no.
Maybe it's possible, but I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. I never heard that.
want the movie to be his.
So this movie starts off with Bruce Banner on the run, of course, the classic story.
This movie used the credits to tell the origin of the Hulk.
Yes, very TV showish with the machine and everything. I loved every part of that.
I love that a lot.
We see the Abomination for the first time, of course, in this movie. Played by
Didn't
Tim
love it.
Roth.
Didn't love it.
Tim Roth, excellent.
Yes,
Tim
but
Roth, who starred on Lie to Me, and that show was canceled too soon.
I love the fact that his character in this was not afraid of the Hulk when he didn't have superpowers.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna get this dude. I'm like, okay. I mean, he ends up getting every bone in his body broken.
I still remember watching the scene where he goes for the super soldier serum, and I'm nudging my friend Dave, who loves Captain America. I'm like, it's the super soldier serum. It's the super soldier serum. And then when he runs up to Hulk and they fight, and he uses, what is it, the piece of a car door as a shield. I'm like, oh my God, it's like Captain America. Oh my God. Like, I was so excited. So like Iron Man told us, like, oh, look, it's like a whole new world, but Hulk was broadcasting stuff, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "We're gonna get Captain America."
Did you see one of the deleted scenes where he's walking in the snow?
He's trying to.
And it has the avalanche, and they actually have like a little like Captain America. It's like a Frozen type thing, which ended up. It's a deleted scene because that's not how they found Captain America and all that stuff.
Don't forget they mentioned Dr. Erskine in this movie too. Talking about this,
because because he ends up using that serum.
Yes,
right. I thought his transformations were incredible. Especially this scene when she jumps on top of him to like calm him down. I'm like, that's pretty dope. I love the leader, Samuel Stearns. Well, here's Tim Roth.
Please bring
the classic TV eyes. Tell me he doesn't look like Bill Bixby right there.
He does. He
really does.
Great job of capturing that.
Yeah, and they had like when he first transformed in the bottling plant, the little like voices in the back, like, it was frightening. He's in Mexico hiding. Tim Roth.
Something very interesting when he worked in the bottling plant, because his blood did get in some bottles and people ended up dead.
Yeah.
That's the first time we know that his blood can be toxic. But now, thanks to She-Hulk, we discover that if anyone's DNA is close enough to his, it could be a different story. And even in this movie, we learn Tim Roth is exposed to the gamma radiated blood after he's experienced the super soldier serum.
Right.
So it's just I find where all the things we have in place for the Hulk, I find them are very well told.
This part right here was one of my favorite scenes.
It's beautiful.
When he throws the freaking rock at the sky because of the lightning and thunder.
Yeah.
It's like classic. Like Hulk is ready to take on anybody, even the lightning, anything. And in the way he just sits down with her and is real calm, I was like, this is very good. I like this.
And I think they lifted this scene, Cliff might remember, from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's Hulk
From Hulk, right? I think so.
Hulk Gray, yeah.
I think so. Almost sure.
Liv Tyler plays Betty. I think Betty's gonna come back in the MCU.
I do too.
Hang on, I'll be right.
All right. I think she's gonna come back.
I think so too. I think they're very deliberately referencing so much from that movie because they're just at this point they're just saying, yeah, this is canon. And I think there was like this kind of question mark about it for the past several years, and of course, What If made it canon. I think, even though it's a What If story, but they used scenes from this movie in What If, so it's like, okay, well then this obviously happened in the MCU multiverse.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, why not? Why not use her? I mean, she's a heck of an actor.
How do you think she's gonna come back?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because I see.
Personally, I would love her to show up in the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Hulk is rumored to be the villain of that movie.
Hulk? As the Red She-Hulk or the Harpy?
She has to come back regular first.
Yeah, no, I know. But they could do it.
Yeah, the rumor is that the Hulk is supposed to be like who they're going after in Thunderbolts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the rumor, but
he's gonna have to come back from Sakaar first, then, right?
Right. I think we'll.
Well, I think he will because allegedly we're gonna meet Scar at the end of She-Hulk.
I was gonna say they've been teasing Sakaar the first 2 episodes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he's on his way there now.
Right.
This scene was hilarious when he's falling and he thinks he can turn. He's like, "Oh shit!" But then he comes out as the Hulk. I was like, "That's dope." There's Thunderbolt Ross,
William Hurt.
Rest in peace, William Hurt.
Yeah.
So at the end of this movie, the Hulk fights the Abomination. Almost kills the Abomination, but I guess is it Betty that talks him down?
Yep.
Betty talks him down. Thunderbolt lets him leave. And the end of the movie is basically he's in a away forest somewhere and he's had 0 incidents in I don't know how many years, but then his eyes open up. So I guess it's kind of telling us that he's kind of controlling it, which kind of sets it up for like the Avengers. So, and at the end of this movie, there's a post-credit scene, which is canon, of Tony Stark coming into the bar and meeting Thunderbolt Ross. And he's basically telling him, well, you know, at the end of Iron Man, Nick Fury came in and said he was starting the Avengers Initiative. So now Iron Man's kind of like the spokesman to go to Thunderbolt Ross, says, I hear you got a situation. And I love Thunderbolt's you always wear such nice suits. Because it was almost as if things were said in a way that, okay, if this doesn't ever work out, these, you know, this won't be connected. You know what I mean? Because they don't really mention that he's like Iron Man. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that was a cool little end scene. And the next movie is 2010's Iron Man 2. You know, I kind of thought like we were going to go.
Yes.
I feel like
it is.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that being the next one.
Yeah, they wanted to build heavy off of the success of Iron Man. So they greenlit Iron Man 2 immediately, which was smart. Because Robert Downey Jr. has become a Tony Stark. You know what I mean? And they really like him. So this movie was directed by
Favreau again.
It has Mickey Rourke starring as the lead villain.
I thought he was great in that.
Whiplash, basically. What'd you say?
I said I thought Mickey Rourke was great in this movie.
I thought he was phenomenal too. I want my bird. Bird. And I thought Hammer.
And I'd say something
I love
Favreau
Justin
too.
Hammer.
Yes.
What's that? Yes. I always forget he's in it too.
He's
wild.
great.
I went back and watched all these.
I hope they bring him back in Armor Wars. Because Justin Hammer is a great character. He's a great character. So in this movie, Tony's like falling in love with the idea of being Iron Man, and everybody knows that he's Iron Man. But the secret underneath is that the piece that he's put in his chest to be Iron Man is now starting to poison him. And he hasn't figured out how to stop it from spreading throughout his body. So this movie, like this scene here, kind of adapts to little Demon in the Bottle story. And the Demon in the Bottle story was basically when Iron Man became an alcoholic in the comics.
Well, he was an
and
alcoholic in the comics for a long time.
for a long time. But then that one story kind of like,
really
Yeah,
shied
Demon in
away
the
from that
Bottle,
in
he
the movies.
straight up endangered people
yeah,
because he was holding, what was it, an oil tanker that while he was drunk, or an oil
Yeah.
truck, and then like it exploded because he dropped it.
yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible.
That was what always amazed me about these Marvel movies. I mean, I know why they do it because it's Disney, but like they really shied away from that whole part of his character that we're not even.
Again, it was not Disney at the time that they did this.
Right.
Well, okay, but I mean, I think in the interest of selling, to kids, you can't really make your hero. an alcoholic.
Yeah.
No, but he was definitely an alcoholic in that movie. That was definitely like a thing to talk about.
Right, but the way they did it was very
in the
subtle.
comics, there's that great story right after Civil War II, where he and Danvers meet at an AA meeting.
Yeah.
And they have this great conversation in the comic. And like, you could do that so well in the movie, but now you can't because you're not.
They kind of like they slightly touched over it because you don't see him drinking like that. He's just drunk.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's drunk at the party already. They don't show that. This movie introduces Rhodey. Don Cheadle is now Rhodey in the movie. He dons the War Machine armor. Well, technically, it's not the War Machine armor yet, but he dons another armor because Tony Stark is going wild. He's throwing these parties. He's endangering everybody, and he wants to put him down.
Is he in the Iron armor in this too?
He's what?
Is he in the Iron Patriot armor in this one?
No,
too?
that's 3.
Oh, that's 3. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So after him and Rhodey fight, Nick Fury finds Tony Stark at the local donut shop eating donuts and says, "I need to talk to you." And basically, Nick knows what's going on with this problem that's spreading. In this movie, as well as introduced Scarlett Johansson. I can't believe we haven't talked about Scarlett Johansson yet. Her impact in the MCU is just like, it's crazy. She really doesn't have any powers, supposedly, but I think she has like some little heightened agilities and stuff like that due to the Red Room and stuff. But Iron Man, Fury basically says, "I worked with your father," gave him some stuff, and basically told him, "Here, you got to figure it out, but you're confined to your house." And what's Agent Coulson?
Yep.
He's like, "Yeah, I'll keep eyeing you, but then I gotta go check something out in Nevada." Was it? He said, "I gotta go check something that's happened in Nevada." So he leaves, and he leaves Tony to figure things out. And there's Scarlett Johansson. She plays undercover for a little bit as Pepper's secretary type, but she really works for S.H.I.E.L.D. There's Nick Fury, Sam Jackson. Came on to the scene signing a 10-movie deal. So I'll give you 10 out the box. And then that's already passed. He's already re-up and he's doing it again.
He's on a second movie deal. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's like, what we got? 7 more? All right.
I mean, anyway, if you think about it, if you take all his screen time together, it's one movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Other than, what's it, Winter Soldier, he doesn't.
The Winter
He's in the
Soldier.
movie
He's
10
heavily in
minutes
there.
each time.
There's Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer. Great
Love
character,
Sam
in my
Rockwell.
opinion. At the end of the movie, Iron Man and War Machine fight Mickey Rourke's Whiplash. They end up defeating him. Rhodey goes off with the suit. It's his now. And that's the end. And the end credit scene for this movie is Coulson going to Nevada, and they
hammer's
show
on the ground.
and they show Thor's
Yes.
hammer in the ground, which got everybody excited. Which
yeah.
brings us to Thor in 2011, which was directed by Kenneth Branagh, starring Chris Hemsworth as Thor, starring Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Idris Elba as, what is his name?
Heimdall.
Heimdall.
Although I wouldn't call that starring. That's like a very small role in the first one.
And what's his face as Odin forgot his name.
Anthony.
Also, let's not
Anthony
forget Mark
Hopkins.
Jennings, okay, as the future Dr. Darcy. All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Darcy, I love Darcy.
Yeah, I
Well,
love. She's one of my favorite things.
Darcy's one of my favorite.
And Skarsgård.
And Skarsgård,
Yeah.
who
Skarsgård.
plays a major role in the Avengers.
Sure
Right.
does.
Dr.
So, what happens in this movie is that Thor is up in Asgard acting up all about himself, as Thor usually is, and all that. And they end up getting into a situation where Thor thinks he can go to what's the frozen place?
Yeah.
Test your trivia now.
Is it Niflheim?
Nephilim or something where the frost giants live and stuff. They go over there, they cause a ruckus, and Odin has to come in and break it up. And Thor's punishment for going over there, Odin I cast you out. That was one of that scene was really deep to me because I could actually see the hurt on Thor's face, like, yo, I messed up. And then Odin's like, yo, I gotta get you out of here. You gotta learn. I cast you out. I strip you. Blah, 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 and just boom, flings him down to earth with no powers.
Jotunheim. Is that what you just said?
Jotunheim, yes,
Yeah.
Jotunheim.
There you go.
So Chris Hemsworth gets sent down to Earth where he meets Jane Foster and the rest of the crew, and he's trying to tell them who he is, but they're just like, whatever, you're just like a regular guy. He finds out that S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson and them actually have his hammer, and he wants to go get his hammer.
And we get our first peek at Hawkeye.
You get our first peek at
right.
Hawkeye, correct?
Agent Barton.
Agent Barton stands up in the rafters. So Thor breaks into the facility. He gets past all these guards, and he gets to Mjolnir, and he can't pick up Mjolnir, which was one of the most hard. Because when he couldn't pick it up, and that's why I said Chris Hemsworth is a phenomenal actor in my opinion. When he couldn't pick it up, and the brokenness in him to not even try anymore after that, but just to kneel on his knees like, yo, if I can't lift Mjolnir, what's the point? You know what I mean?
The fact that he looked forsaken. He delivered as an actor for being forsaken. He was like, oh.
Yeah, it was deep. It was deep. Loki comes to visit him and basically tells him that, Odin, he said Odin died, right?
Yep.
Said Odin died, but Odin didn't die. And he says that the wish was for you to be cast out and not come back, basically. So Thor was like, okay, I respect his wishes. So he tries to live as a person on Earth, blah, blah, blah. And then Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, classic character, now got his own show. Look how far he's come. Look how far Loki has come. From like a character in the comics, which we know he's a big character in the comics. But Tom Hiddleston has raised the level of Loki to A-list when he wasn't A-list before. You know what I mean?
For real.
No, he did for Loki what Robert Downey Jr. did for Iron Man.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So Loki sends the destroyer down to Earth to kill Thor. Thor basically knows it's Loki doing it. He sacrifices himself, which basically makes him worthy again. And then Mjolnir flies out, comes to his hand. He becomes Thor again. He kisses Jane Foster, says, I have to go to Asgard to stop my brother Loki. So he goes up to Asgard where he fights Loki. He destroys the Rainbow Bridge. Loki's lost to he just lets go and he's lost to space and infinity. And there's no way for Thor to get back to Jane. So he just basically asks Heimdall, what's she doing? And Heimdall's like, oh, she's looking for a way to find you. And it ends with the happy music, blah, 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 blah. And then the post-credit scene, which is... It's the one with the doctor, right?
Is it?
Or is that in Captain America?
The one with the doctor and the twins is Captain America.
No, not the twins. The one where Nick Fury shows Skarsgård the Tesseract, but then you look in the mirror and it's Loki that's possessing Skarsgård.
Oh yeah, that's this movie.
That's this movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's how we know Loki isn't truly gone, but Loki is inside of his head.
Right.
And it's because wherever Loki got lost to, he met Thanos.
Exactly. So that's the end of that movie. Leads us into my personal favorite,
Mine
Captain
too.
America, the First Avenger.
This is one
Love
of those ones you
this
can put on
movie.
whenever.
Like
Yeah.
Chris Evans, honestly, I know he wants to do other movies and all that, but I'm just like, no, bro, you're Captain America from here on out. You need to
For
stay
real.
Captain America because I don't know how to explain it, but it was just like
He embodies it so well.
He embodied it from the comic, like the loyalty, the patrioticness, just everything about, like, even when he disagreed with what was bad, he didn't go along with it at points. You know what I mean? He broke if it meant being loyal to his friends over to the government, he went with his friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he was patriotic to a point, but if the government ever tried to stop him from saving his friends, he would go against it, which would, eventually become evident in the sequel movie.
Yeah.
And by the way, Hugo Weaving as Red Skull.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So much so that they had to use
absolutely one of my favorite villains.
I was so sad to hear that he hated the experience and didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
which is crazy. Here's a man who did 3 Matrix films, Lord of the Rings,
right?
But somehow this is the movie that broke him.
This is the one that broke you.
The Wolfman,
right?
But he looked phenomenal. He brought the Red Skull to life. I was like, how are they gonna make the Red Skull look real?
Well, and he does such a good job that down the road they get what's his name to basically ape him. With makeup on.
And looks phenomenal.
Right.
He looks like, okay, forget about Hugo Weaving. We don't need him anymore. Which I'm hoping in the next Captain America movie, it's called New World Order. I'm hoping there's a post-credit scene where the Red Skull is back.
I hope so too.
Be nice.
You know what I mean? Because he got one movie and he's Captain America's biggest villain.
Yeah,
for real.
You know what I mean?
But we've also lost our Captain America, so
For now.
Although he could make a very interesting villain if done right.
Right. I mean, if you guys ever watched the animated show, the more recent one.
Well, there's a few of them, but
Avengers Assemble. Avengers Assemble.
Oh, well, I was thinking of Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
And Earth's Mightiest Heroes is good as well, and they both did Red Skull phenomenally.
Yes. Yeah.
Billy Atwell.
Oh my gosh.
Peggy Carter. Like, we gotta give her a props. She's been around since Phase 1. You know
her
what I mean?
show was pretty good by itself too.
The Agent Carter series is still considered canon.
It's pretty great.
Yes.
Yep. This movie for me, this was the one that when I went to it, because I love Captain America. I mean, he's probably tied with Spider-Man for my favorite Marvel character. This was like make or break it for me for MCU. If this movie hadn't been what it was, I probably would have been like, I don't know if I can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this one needed to be good for me, and I walked into that theater so hopeful, and I left feeling great, man. I love
the suit. The suit was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, I was even a little disappointed when Avengers came and he switched to that other suit. I was like, man, you need to go back and get that suit because the other suit is way better.
Yeah.
So in this movie, Steve Rogers wants to be a hero. He wants to be a soldier, but he's like 70 pounds and he's tried about 6 or 7 times to get into the military. He can't get in the military. They keep rejecting him. His best friend, Bucky, has just been drafted, and he's going to go into the military. So they decide to spend the night out and have some fun with some girls that Bucky's got to go dancing and stuff. But Steve slips away and tries once again to get into the recruiting thing. He goes in there. Bucky almost catches him. He's like, what are you doing, man? He's like, I got to try. He's like, all right, man, do whatever you're going to do. He goes in there. He fakes it again, which is a funny scene because they're like, you need to wait right here. And he kind of thinks like, oh, shit, they caught up with me. They're going to arrest me, this and that. And then Dr. Erskine, right? Erskine
And how
in.
great is
Phenomenal,
Tucci in this
phenomenal
movie?
character. Yes,
Oh, Tucci was
Tucci.
great.
Tucci's
killed it.
phenomenal in this. He basically says to him like, you've tried so many times, and he's like, well, what do you want to do? And he basically said he just wanted to help people and stuff like that. And so Erskine was like, all right, I'm gonna approve you. Little did he know that he had him already picked as his pick for Captain America, but then he has to go through the process. So he gets in the military. He's skinny, like 70 pounds. Who's the drill sergeant? Tommy Lee Jones.
Yep.
He's a
Yes.
phenomenal
That's right.
drill. Let's give him props for being a phenomenal drill sergeant. Hopefully they got a picture of him. And he's against him from the start. He's against him. Is it the Easter egg for the guy that they were gonna pick? Isn't he a character?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think we were all theorizing that he could be somebody, but I don't think he was. No.
Right. One of the key scenes was Tommy Lee Jones throws. Was it Tommy Lee Jones or somebody throws a grenade?
Yes, Tommy Lee
Yes.
Jones.
Tommy Lee
It's
Jones
Tommy Lee
throws a
Jones, yeah.
grenade, and everybody scatters except Steve Rogers, who
Jumps
jumps
on
on the grenade. And I was like, yo. Oh, here comes Anthony. Let me get him in here real quick.
Oh my God, we actually have comments. Larry saying hi.
Just my eyes.
Oh, we do have comments.
Yep.
Look at that. Larry Jackson was good, LJ. Yo, Jackson, heard you was hard to work with. Toby Swire movies got you. Thought they mentioned it in She-Hulk. Toy Gaines was good. Toy Gaines. I want green suit, red skull. What's green suit, red skull?
Probably
Didn't he have a green jumpsuit once upon a time?
Yeah, with the Nazi symbol on it or whatever. Probably. That's
Oh,
probably
from Secret Empire?
Maybe he means green suit cap.
No.
Toy Gaines,
I
tell
gotta
us
tell
what you mean by
they need to do
that. Tell us what you mean
No,
by
he
that, Toy
means,
Gaines.
he means the green suit. You know, the little, like, this,
I don't remember.
he's got the belt on the green suit.
Oh, he must be talking about like old school green skull.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
red skull.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
you. Kamaria's in the house. So what's up, council crew? So Anthony, what's good?
How's it going? I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We're in the middle. We're towards the end now. We're at Captain America: The First Avenger.
Okay, this is the first series
Yep.
of movies.
Yeah. So at this point, Tommy Lee Jones sees that he jumps on the grenade, and he's like, he's still skinny. I don't care what you say. And one of the next scenes is the trick of the flagpole, where they're all trying, like, the first
That's
person
right.
to get up the flagpole and get it, will be able to ride
right.
back. They're all trying to get
I
it,
love
then
that
they
scene.
stop, and Steve Rogers figures out all I gotta do is pull the pin and drop this thing, and I got the flag. And he gets in the car.
Work
and he
smarter,
goes.
not harder.
So Erskine basically says you're the pick to be Captain America. They set him up in this whole contraption that we got right here. This is where we're kind of like introduced to like Howard Stark as well, Tony Stark's father, who's helping the government do all this. There's Howard Stark, played by Dominic Cooper. He's the guy who made his shield, everything. So they put him in Steve Rogers in this machine. They hit him with the Vita Rays, and they almost stop it, but he's like, "No, keep going." And 1, 2, 3, bam, bam, he becomes Captain America.
What does he say? I can do this or something like that? Because
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't
then
stop!
say
I can
later.
do this." Yeah. So they turn the Vita Rays up, and boom. So he comes out, and then there's a spy from the Nazis who shoots Erskine. He tries to steal a vial. It's a great scene where Captain America is running after this guy on barefoot throughout the city, jumping on things, running after him. He eventually catches him, but the guy kills himself, and he says, "Hail Hydra," blah, blah, blah. So
Cyanide capsule.
yes.
That's right.
So this is, what's this guy's name? Come on, guys, help me out.
Zola.
Oh, Armin Zola.
Yeah.
Armin Zola.
Yeah,
Arnim
he
Zola.
becomes
He's
the,
great too. I mean, this
He's Red-
honestly, this
yeah,
movie
he's
has
Red
some
Skull's
some of the
side.
best casting.
side man, is his invention man. And basically the Red Skull has the Tesseract, and he's trying to harness the power of the gods so that he can be all powerful and take over everything. He's basically even turning against Hitler and all them. He's like, Hitler searched for trinkets in the desert. And he's got his own thing. So Captain America, though, he's been put on the USO tour because they don't really trust him as being a soldier. They want to use him more as a figurehead, as a figure piece. So they send him on the USO to help troops get elevated with their motivation, blah blah blah, and so forth. Great montage, great song. What's the song? How's it?
Star Spangled Man with a Plan.
Star Spangled Man with a Plan. It's a great little piece that they put in there. So eventually, he finds out that his friend Bucky has been captured, and I think that there's some like feedback. Somebody has us playing in the background.
No, I did it for a second. I killed it.
Okay. So he goes on his own to save Bucky. He gets the help of Howard Stark and Peggy Carter. He goes across lines. He breaks in. He saves the whole platoon. He brings them back. And Bucky's like, 3 cheers for Captain America. And everybody's like, Captain America, Captain America. So now Captain America is officially brought on, and they're hunting down the Red Skull and Hydra and blah, blah, blah.
And there's
So
shield bosses all the time.
Right. There's montages of them, going after Red Skull and foiling plans and blah blah blah.
And Bucky sniping people.
Right. And then Peggy Carter wants to show up in the red dress, knowing that she's looking for Steve. Like they were meant to be together.
How you
forever.
doing? How you doing?
You know what I mean? And so they have this final plan. Oh, let's not forget the Howling Commandos, who are phenomenal in this movie. Dum Dum Duggan right here. Dugan, whatever they call him.
I'm going to put this out. This is the best cast Marvel movie out of all of them. Tell me one that's better. It has a number of characters, and they nail it with everybody.
Yes. So these are the Howling Commandos. They help Cap. He breaks into this place to fight the Red Skull. The Red Skull escapes. Cap chases after him. Eventually fights him in the plane. And the Red Skull picks up the Tesseract and gets shot somewhere in the space. Disappears. And so Cap is got the plane. He knows there's a bomb on the plane. He doesn't want to run it into New York City because that's where it's going. So he decides that he's going to crash it into the ice. He has this loving goodbye with Peggy. He tells her, you got to save me a dance, blah, blah, blah. I'll be there, blah, blah, blah. And he crashes into the ice.
Yep.
And we flash forward, which is actually the beginning of the movie where they find him. But he wakes up in a hospital bed where he's listening to the radio and there's a baseball game playing, blah, blah, blah. And immediately he knows something is up.
That's right.
Because he knows the game in the radio. He's like, I know that game because I went to that game. So there's no way that game is playing right now. So he freaks out. He finds out he's like on a set. He starts running all over the place. And he goes to Times Square. Yeah, he goes to Times Square. And he's just like in awe. Like, what has become of this place? And Nick Fury shows up. He's like, you've been 70 years in the ice, Cap. Time for me to update you on some stuff. And that's the end of the movie.
Yep.
Post-credit scene. The post-credit scene is basically a scene from the Avengers.
Yeah, it's a tease of the Avengers.
It's a tease of the Avengers. So that jumps us into the final part. Avengers. First movie. Phenomenal movie. Phenomenal movie. First time that superheroes were really brought together after having their own movie and put into a big movie to create a big universe. And it was extremely, extremely successful. I think this solidified the MCU as being something that was going to stick around for a while.
Right, because up until this point, it was just Coulson hopping around movie to movie.
Right.
Well, has anything like this
Fury
been done before?
No.
there was a
Josh. I want like
yeah.
It's called Star Trek.
There's
Star
been
Trek
movies
had a
where they
shared cinematic universe before. Let's give credit where credit is due. All right.
not comics. No, just
not
no,
comics.
but like
there was the
for-
the League of Extraordinary Men, Extraordinary
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
Right,
but they didn't have
that
any
was a
movies
comic to
before.
movie. There is
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
that was just set out there like that. That wasn't like each guy kind of had their own movie, and then it culminated in a bunch of movies.
Right.
Plus, there was only one League of Extraordinary Gentlemen that was also supposed to be a franchise, but it's a failed franchise, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't get anymore.
So
You can-
we have
you can
the
feel-
Avengers,
Yeah.
where we start off the movie. Nick Fury and Shield have the Tesseract, and Loki shows up. He comes out of nowhere. He shows up. Nick Fury and Hawkeye are there. He has the Tesseract. He changes Hawkeye by tapping him in the heart with what is it called?
The scepter.
The scepter. Where's the scepter from? He just got it, right? That was the first time we seen it. Was in the
Thanos for
Avengers.
some reason gave
Thanos
him
gave it.
the
Yeah, Thanos gave it to him. He touches him with the scepter. He becomes zombified and follows Loki. But the Tesseract did something that is causing like the destruction of the base, and the base is like being destroyed. So they have to get out of there. And meanwhile, they're chasing Loki and Hawkeye as well out of there. Loki escapes. And then the Avengers credit scene comes up, and we're in the Avengers. So this teams up Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Iron Man, Hawkeye, and the Hulk. And the Hulk is now played by Mark Ruffalo because they recasted the Hulk. What are your guys' thoughts on this movie?
It actually is one of the few Marvel movies that got even better in time.
Yeah.
Well, you remember how important this movie becomes later when you get to Endgame and how much
Yes.
stuff that they use from this specific movie.
Yes.
Well, like one thing that like stood out to me is like as soon as I rewatched it after seeing Winter Soldier, I'm like, oh my god, there's someone disobeying Fury's orders right there on the helicarrier. Oh my god, that was clearly Hydra. Even then, somebody was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
My thing about this movie is that New York City is a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the streets that they're on. I don't know. That's to me the biggest takeaway from the movie.
And as
They did it right.
as many fake sets as they used, New York felt like New York, even
It
though
felt
you
like
knew,
New York.
even though you knew they weren't really there.
Right. Well, I'm saying though the just Grand Central Station, right? When they're fighting in Grand Central Station, it's like we've all been there. That's what it looks like. Looks like from the
Yeah.
outside, looks like from the inside. That's what it looks like if Hulk punched Thor through a wall, right? That's
Yep.
I thought they did an excellent job with that, and that to me elevated the movie above all the others. Just that. Yeah.
I like the fact that this movie, that they, it had this big epic, what they call the Battle of New York, which was essentially this whole movie. I like the fact that that carried through so many other Marvel movies and TV shows, that they continue to reference it. That it wasn't just another big battle that happened in one of the movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, it was something that was continued to follow. They continued to follow up on it. It had magnitude. The impact of that movie carries through the whole franchise even till now.
not too many people
even the
knew about
Netflix
aliens
shows
until they
reference
started
it.
flying out of that hole.
Yes.
That's the, you know what I mean? Like that's,
Yeah.
the other thing, they actually, like you said, they continue to acknowledge the fact that these events happen because they happen. They'd be pretty big. The whole world knows about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So Loki has the Tesseract. What he wants to do is he wants to open up a gate so that his Chitauri army that was given to him by Thanos can come in and take over Earth, basically. So the Avengers have to team up to fight Loki. It's pretty much the gist of the movie, is that they're teaming up against Loki. You have scenes which is pretty cool scene where they have the scepter above the helicarrier, and then they start talking about each other or start like going against each other, which is a little weird because when I was watching it, I was like, why are they acting like this? And I was like, oh, this is part of the movie. Like something's doing to him. And Thor is like, he's puny. Or he says something. I was like, there's something up here. And they finally realize that it's the scepter that's making them do that. And they have Loki. They actually capture Loki and they put him in a prison amongst the helicarrier, and they put him in this device that, you know, if he does anything, they can just drop him at like 20,000 feet, and hopefully that'll kill him. But it's revealed that that place that they're holding him wasn't built for Loki; it was built for the Hulk.
Yes.
So they're trying to figure out Loki's scheme. Black Widow goes in there to talk to him, and she kind of like pulls it out of him by acting like she's afraid and this and that. And she's kind of like, oh. So when he reveals like this wasn't built for me, it was built for something else. And she's like, she kind of figures it out like, oh, you're here for the Hulk. She's like, thanks, needed that. And so they figure that out. So their thing is like, okay, we got to make sure Banner doesn't flip out.
Which is exactly what happened.
Yeah, because Loki has Hawkeye zombified. So Hawkeye comes in, shoots an arrow on one of the engines. This plane is all wrecked. Banner ends up getting hurt, so he turns into the Hulk. And that was terrifying when the Widow was running away from the Hulk. I was like, yo, can you imagine running away from that? That's going crazy. And Hulk and Thor have their first fight, which is great. Hulk's trying to pick up the hammer, and even the Hulk really can't pick up the hammer, which is pretty cool. But eventually, the Hulk jumps away after everything. They kind of save the day. Loki escapes. Hawkeye gets Loki. Loki has the Tesseract. So then Loki basically takes Skarsgård, which is from the Thor movie, the scientists, and they create that little machine on top of Avengers Tower, Stark Tower at the time, and they start creating the portal. So the Avengers team up, the aliens come down. I love the beginning where they circle up and the dun, 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 and Captain America doing what Captain America does best, giving everybody the orders of what he's supposed to do. And when he turns to Hulk, he's like, Hulk, he's like, smash. And then he goes off and he starts smashing. I was like, that's classic. This is phenomenal. And another funny scene is when
even better than that. Right before that, where they're like, Banner, you need to be angry. He's like, I'm always angry.
Yeah,
that's right.
And he takes it down without even a cause. And the cops, remember the cops are like, things are going crazy. And then Captain America comes down. He's like, I need you to do this, and that. He's like, who the hell are you? And then the aliens come down and Cap hits him with a shield, throws the thing, blah, 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 blah. And then the cop immediately just like, yeah, I need people over here on 5th and 5th. It's classic. Classic. And then the montages of them fighting the aliens, like Thor bringing down the lightning or something, like Iron Man deflecting it off the shield, like all the other stuff that they did. The one scene where they go like this and the things come into their hands, the slow motion shot, that was pretty cool.
Cap and Thor, where the shield comes to Cap and the hammer comes to Thor. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And so the government decides they're going to shoot a nuke, destroy this thing, and Iron Man's like, yeah, we can't let that happen. So Iron Man actually grabs the nuke, flies it up to the wormhole, flies it into outer space, flings it at one of Thanos' ships, blows it to smithereens, and as he falls, I'm like, they can't kill Iron Man in the first Avengers movie, can they? But they made you think like he was not gonna make it through that hole, and he made it. And the whole crowd was just like, whoo! And then they're like, he's not stopping. And then it was the Hulk who basically jumps up, catches him, brings him down, and they think he's like dead. and the Hulk just like screams in his face like "Rah!" And then he wakes up. He's like, oh, all right, cool.
And
cool.
Hulk is the one that catches him falling out of the sky.
Yeah,
like that
Hulk
was
catches
great.
him. Yeah.
You know, like I was like, oh, like what's gonna happen? And like Hulk is leaping and catches him, and I was like, oh my god, this is so great.
Yeah. And then Tony wakes up and he's like, I know this great place for shawarma that we can go get shawarma. Blah blah blah. blah.
And look at that just that line. And now, if you go to Disney, if you go to Disneyland or Disney World, you can just get shawarma.
That's right.
At the Avengers compound. Like,
Right.
just from that one line in that movie, like, launched something later in the theme park. That's like
Shawarma
a regular.
sales went up like 10 times, right? Like after the movie, that was something too. Like you could look that up. They went up like at least, like 10 times what it was for previous. Yeah. So apparently people really hadn't heard of shawarma. So,
Wow.
So the movie ends with Thor taking capture of Loki. He's bringing him back to Asgard. Iron Man and Banner get in the car. They drive off. Captain America gets on his motorcycle, I believe, and he rides off. And Colby Smulders,
Yep. Maria Hill.
basically is like, you can't. Maria Hill, basically is like, you're not gonna let them go. Like, what if we need them again? It's like, oh well, if we need them again, they'll come around. Blah blah blah. We'll find them, and then it ends.
And Loki killed Coulson.
And Loki killed Coulson.
That's right. Before
that was a heartbreaker right there.
That's what brought the team together.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Before he could get his
random dude. They tell you Loki killed a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, probably people more like on the level of Hawkeye and Black Widow, but yet it was Coulson.
Because Coulson met all of them.
We gotta do something now.
Yeah, and it's not like as if it wasn't enough that Coulson died. That Nick Fury had to throw in the little card thing, like you don't even have to lie about it. Why do you have to lie? He's dead. They've got their motivation.
Right.
Nope.
So the movie ends, and the post-credit scene. It's one of the best post-credit scenes ever. Is one of the creatures talking, and they say the only way to something to take care of them is to court death or something.
It's Thanos.
And Thanos turns around with his smile, and he smiles into the camera, and the movie ends. And that ends phase 1 of the MCU.
Is that the official end? This movie? Is that what?
Yes.
Phase 2 begins with what movie?
Yes. And that ends phase 1.
So what was the next movie after this one?
Starting in phase 2 was Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which we will discuss next week as we discuss phase 2. We're going to go over Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, and the Ant-Man.
Phase 2, full of hits and misses. I love it.
Movie. Ant-Man ends that phase. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that's it. I think we've got enough time. Everybody up here. It's been wonderful
to watch those this week now.
One. Yes. It's been wonderful discussing phase 1 with all you guys. Next week we will do phase 2. Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to Green Shirt Guy. Shout out to Josh. Shout out to Anthony, Alterniverse. Shout out to Cliff. We missed Bam and Paul today. Don't know what happened. Paul said he was going to show up, but he didn't. But that's okay. We'll see him on Tuesday. Don't know what happened to Bam. I want to get Joey on here too eventually.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Has he even watched any of the Marvel movies? He would be a great counterpoint because I don't even think he cares. Like, you know what I mean?
Right, he's a DC guy. He's a real big DC guy.
He'd be our DC guy. He'll talk about Batman.
There you go.
So, From the Council of Comics to everybody out there, thank you for joining us for our live podcast. Tune in next week for episode 4, where we'll go over phase 2. If you have not done so and you are on our YouTube channel, please hit the like and please subscribe to our channel. If you're on Facebook, please jump over to our YouTube, subscribe, because we have videos all throughout the week. We're also on Instagram. We're also on TikTok. Give us a follow. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will check you guys later. Peace.